series of races will be the competition for Top Gas Eliminator. Now, the cars used in these competitions are specially built for the quarter-mile acceleration. They're the dragsters, but they're using pumped gasoline. And it's amazing what they can do with these finely tuned machines, accelerating up to speeds almost 200 miles an hour and going through the quarter-mile distance in slightly over 8 seconds. Should be a tremendously competitive event, and I see that they're about to get underway with the first race. And lined up on the line, it's Pete Robinson in number 47, the 1962 Top Eliminator from Atlanta, Georgia, and Harold Amix from Westminster, California, in car number 73. Robinson on the far side, that's Pete right there, a terrific competitor, and he came on with a big surprise back in 1962, and they're away. Notice the tremendous smoke as they get fractured with those rear wheels. The race to the finish line is going to be very close, and the winner is Harold Amix of Westminster, California, with a speed of 184.42 miles per hour. Sometimes these drivers look a little like men from outer space, and here's Bob Keith from San Jose, California, to tell us why.
Well, in the first place, we wear an asbestos fire suit. In case of an engine blow-up, we don't get burnt. It's made out of an asbestos material, and there's several different companies that make them, and they've sure helped save a lot of people's lives.
You have some other articles also, Bob.
Yes, sir. We have goggles. These are more or less an aircraft-type goggles. They've got a shatterproof lens in case of flying objects. And then we also have an asbestos glove, which is made out of the same material as the fire suit, with the exception of the inside, which are made out of leather so we can grip the steering wheel. And then we have the crash helmet, or as we say in drag racing, a skid lid or brain bucket, and this has saved an awful lot of people's lives also. The most important item, as far as I'm concerned, is the face mask. This will, in case of a fire, keep you from getting your face burned. It is made out of the asbestos, and it also is lined inside to keep the heat out. The asbestos alone will keep the fire out, but not the heat, so this is why they are lined in the inside.
How warm is it inside all this?
It gets pretty warm when the sun comes out like it is today.
And when the competition is tough. I know you want to get back to that race. You're competing in the competition for Top Gas Eliminator. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
No, it's not Ringo Starr. It's Jerry Caudle of Chicago, Illinois, driving dragster number 110, a rather unusual helmet. I think you'll have to agree. But he also is wearing the face mask and the goggles and the fire-protected gloves. Caudle is racing against George Bolthoff, and they're away, and Bolthoff is taking the lead quickly. And a sizable win by George Bolthoff in a Chrysler-powered machine with a speed of 181.80 miles per hour. This is the first round of Top Gas Eliminator, the final division, and we'll be moving into the semifinals, but now we have one more race left in this round. It'll be Jimmy Nix of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, versus Ron Colson of Oregon, Illinois. Number 8 is Jimmy Nix. There's Ron Colson. They're away, but Colson fouled. You notice the timing lights, and it would indicate a foul. Colson is fouled, so Nix automatically will be the winner. Nix backed off the minute he realized that Colson had fouled. Colson's speed was 166, but he is the loser, and so Nix will go into the semifinals. And we'll have the semifinals for Top Gas Eliminator coming up in just a moment from Pomona, California. Ready now for the semifinals of the Top Gas Eliminator competition. Number 8 is Jimmy Nix from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Number 43, George Bolthoff from Encino, California. Notice how the dragster leaped into the air as he was getting tremendous traction on the rear wheels, and Bolthoff has fouled. He's leading, but Jimmy Nix is going to be the winner. Bolthoff's speed, 181.44 miles per hour, but he got off the line too quickly. Now the other semifinal event, Gordon Collette from Portsmouth, Ohio, racing against Harold Amix from Westminster, California. Collette in number 13, Amix in number 73. A study of concentration as he watches those lights, and they're away. It looks like Collette is having trouble, but Amix is roaring on to the finish line, and the winner is Harold Amix with a speed of 184.04 miles per hour. It appears to be quite a thrill to drive one of these high-powered racing machines. Let's take a look at how it looks from the dragster's point of view. special camera has been mounted on the front axle. You'll notice how much he moves his hand. He has very slow steering, so he will not overcorrect. Moving toward the finish line, and he pops his parachute for braking action. All dragsters are equipped with parachutes. Now we get another view over the driver's shoulder. Notice the white line down the drag strip. He tries to keep it on that white line, and he uses that for steering. He doesn't have much time, and he is at the finish line and starts to slow down. Braking is very important, and he must do it very delicately or he'll throw his machine out of control. Now we're ready for the finals of the Top Gas Eliminator competition. It's Jimmy Nix and Harold Amix. That's the machine of Jimmy Nix from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Harold Amix. Amix is in number 73 from Westminster, California. And they're away. They used a flag start. The lights didn't work. That was a bit of a surprise to them. But Nix is moving out. Amix closing the gap, but he's going to be too late, and the winner is Jimmy Nix with an elapsed time of 8 5/55 seconds, a speed of 179.28 miles per hour. Actually, Amix was going faster at the finish, but he was too far behind. Now let's talk to the winner. Jimmy, that was a wonderful run. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Did it bother you at all to go back to the old style of starting with the flag rather than the light?
Well, it was a little bit of a surprise. It caught me, you know, a little unaware of what was going on, really. I was just surprised, you know, when the lights didn't work, the malfunction, and then they had the flag, and it was a surprise.
Did you get off to a good start?
I think so. I think we got off to a good start.
It was a pretty close race all the way. Were you concerned at any time down the way?
Wow, I was really worried from, you know, the word Joe.
Now, you've had some pretty good times in previous nationals, but you've had some hard luck.
Well, that's right. I had low ET here at this same race last year, and then low ET at Indianapolis at the Summer Nationals. And
what happened that you didn't win?
Well, I foul started up there, got a red light, and then I broke the motor here last year.
Well, you didn't break anything this year but records for yourself and the hearts of the other competitors. Congratulations to you.
Thank you a lot, Charlie.
Jimmy Nix, the Top Gas Eliminator. I'm sure it's quite a bit warmer here in Pomona than it is in Aspen, and as a matter of fact, the competition is getting very hot right now. Back at Pomona, California for the Winter Nationals, we have the next event coming up, the runoff for Competition Eliminator. Now, a competition car has been built specifically for the acceleration through the quarter mile, built especially for drag racing. But the thing that differentiates the competition cars from the dragsters is the fact that they started with some existing car. Now, they've made a lot of alterations, made a lot of changes, and they have built rails, and they look very much like dragsters, but at least the start was an existing car, and they can get up to fantastic speed. So it's the runoff for Competition Eliminator, and they're about to get underway. Once again, in this classification, it's on a handicap system. That's Pete Schattinger in number 96 from Vineland, New Jersey, in a 48 Buick-powered car. Kay Sissel in number 302 from Rosemead, California, driving a 23 Model T powered by a GMC engine. This should be an interesting race. That's Sissel. He took a 23 Model T body and put a GMC engine on his rails. They're away. You notice the difference because of the handicapping. It's going to be a close race, halfway down. And all the way to the finish, and it's Pete Schattinger, the winner, with a speed of 117.03 miles per hour. So he'll move into the semifinals in the runoff for Competition Eliminator. Now here is last year's world champion in this class, Charlie Smith. Smith hails from Oklahoma City. He's got a 23 Model T powered by a 64 Chevrolet engine. Notice he wears the face mask, and he is all concentration as he's ready to go, watching his RPM indications. He'll be running against Danny Brown of Denver, Colorado. And they're away. Smith fishtailed just a little bit as they got away, but he gets it under control, and he's leading. In a very close race, Charlie Smith, the winner, with a speed of 147.05 miles per hour. Now we have Roy Spradling. Spradling hails from California, and Frank Smith, Charlie's brother from Oklahoma City, is in this competition with a car that looks very much like a dragster. But he started with a 23 Ford and put a 64 Chevrolet engine in it. Frank Smith versus Roy Spradling, and it's Frank Smith well out in front, and he is the winner with a speed of 154.63 miles per hour. He'll move into the semifinals along with Chico Bruscini, who drew a bye. Standing by waiting for their opportunity to face the timer at the starting line, a very important team in the competition eliminator class, the team of Davis and Ingram. Wes Ingram on my far right, who is the crew chief, and Joe Davis, the driver from San Jose, California. And they have a very interesting car in this competition. And how do you feel about your chances, Joe?
Real good.
Tell us about the car now. It's a 1937 Fiat, but it's been changed from its original conception in Italy. Wes, what are the major things you've done to it?
Well, the body is completely changed. The wheelbase is moved up. The front axle is moved up. The engine is set back 25% of the wheelbase. And, of course, much more horsepower.
Now, speaking of horsepower, the car appears to be all engine. What kind of an engine do you have in there, and how much horsepower does it produce?
It's a 1964 Chevrolet 327 to start with. It's stroked out to 364. It has a GMC 671 supercharger with Hilborn injectors.
When you say stroked out, you mean you've just enlarged the engine. You've made it a bigger engine. Now, I noticed that the wheels are very small in front. Why is this?
Well, they allow a certain size wheel, and we stay within what the rules allow. The smaller wheel is all that's really necessary on the front.
Why is a smaller wheel necessary?
Well, it isn't necessarily that the small wheel on the front is necessary as much as the large wheel on the back. It just makes it look odd. Actually, well, weight, for one thing, you can get by with less weight with a small wheel. The big thing is that it looks much smaller because of the back wheel being so big.
I guess you might say this car has been built for acceleration, and how fast will it accelerate?
Well, our best is 149.25, which was last week, and our best DT is 978.
Looks like you've got a real going combination here. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Now into the semifinals for competition eliminator. Pete Schattinger from Vineland, New Jersey against Chico Bristini, who hails from Concord, California. That's Schattinger we just saw. They're both in dragsters, and Schattinger had slightly the better of it on the start because of the handicap difference. The question whether Bristini can make up the ground. Bristini's coming on, and he just nipped Schattinger at the finish line. His speed was 146.57 miles per hour. Now we have a special duel in the other semifinal match, the two brothers, Charlie and Frank Smith. That's Charlie Smith, last year's world champion and competition eliminator. And here's his brother Frank. His brother Frank is driving a car that is in the competition classification, A competition, and Charlie Smith has an A Alder. Smith's car, a 23 Ford with a 64 Chevy. And Frank fouled on the start. He was so eager to beat his brother that he fouled. He's leading, but he will be the loser, and Charlie Smith will go into the final. Here's Smith's speed, 144.69 miles per hour, and Charlie Smith will go in against Chico Bristini in the finals, and that'll be coming up in just a moment from Pomona, California. The finals for competition eliminator between Chico Bristini and Charlie Smith got off to a bad start. Chico Bristini is out in front. Charlie Smith is gaining, but I don't believe he's going to have enough time. And the winner is Chico Bristini with a speed of 145.63 miles per hour and an elapsed time of 9.67. His wife is hilarious over that victory. A tremendous upset as last year's world champion Charlie Smith has been defeated. There's his boy and his dog, and they're all happy. So the winner is Chico Bristini. Many of you have asked for more information about the ABC Wide World of Sports book. Here's Bob Rieger to tell you all about it.
Hello, I'm Robert Rieger. 1964 was a great Olympic year in sports. I traveled over 100,000 miles making drawings and photographs on ABC's Wide World of Sports, from the Winter Olympics in January to the AFL Championship game in December. I know that the thousands of viewers who have written in for copies of these pictures will be happy to know they're all in our big new book that's ready now. It's called ABC Wide World of Sports. Over 250 pages, close to 400 photographs and drawings featuring Innsbruck and the Summer Olympic trials and the best of ABC's Wide World of Sports shows. Beautifully reproduced and ideal for study by young athletes, along with a text by our staff of experts. For your copy, send $2, check or money order, which includes handling and mailing, to Sports Programs Incorporated, P.O. Box 17, Brooklyn 1, New York. Make checks or money orders payable to Sports Programs Incorporated, and the address again, P.O. Box 17, Brooklyn 1, New York. This offer not available in Canada, and please allow 3 weeks for delivery. And join us in the weeks to come for more excitement on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
We're now going to watch one of the most interesting classes of all in drag racing, the Top Fuel Eliminator class. This is the special dragster, the one that is built specifically to accelerate over the quarter-mile distance. Cars developing horsepower of more than 1,200, and cars that can exceed 200 miles an hour at the end of a quarter mile. They literally explode at the starting line and zip through that quarter mile in 8 seconds or less. It should be very exciting, and I see that the first race is about to get underway. This race matches Jim Warren of Bakersfield, California, against Don Prudhomme of Granada Hills, California. And that is Warren. Prudhomme is driving the Hawaiian, a car owned by a family in Hawaii, the Leong. Now they must not leave that line before the green light has flashed. They get a 5-second warning, and in a 1-second interval, the lights go down to the green light, and Warren has fouled. Jim Warren has fouled. Don Prudhomme will automatically be the winner. Warren is leading, but he is disqualified, and the winner is Don Prudhomme with a speed of 175.78 miles per hour. Here's Big Daddy Don Garlits, the most famous name in drag racing. One-time top eliminator, has probably won more drag races than any man alive. Bill Alexander will be his opponent. Garlits hails from Tampa, Florida, and Wild Bill Alexander will be racing against him. They're lined up and ready to go, and Garlits has fouled. A tremendous upset here at Pomona, California, as Don Garlits, who had turned 206 miles an hour in a preliminary run, has fouled, and Bill Alexander is the winner. Alexander is taking his time, knowing that he has the victory, and Don Garlits has been eliminated. Well, that is a tremendous surprise. The next race is a rather interesting one. Connie Kalita, one of the all-time great dragsters, in number 24, racing against Art Malone, who is a veteran of the Indianapolis Speedway. Malone gained his experience drag racing, then carried that experience onto the Speedway, where he was able to qualify for the Indianapolis 500-mile race. And this should be a good race. Connie Kalita of Mount Clemens, Michigan, and Art Malone of Lutz, Florida. Malone on the far side, Kalita on the near side. That's Malone. They're away. They got off together. Good start. Heading for the finish line, Kalita is the leader, and Connie Kalita is the winner with a speed of 190.26 miles per hour, just barely edging out Art Malone. And so, Connie Kalita will move into the third round. The next race was Danny Ungaius and Rick Stewart, and Ungaius fouled, so Rick Stewart is the winner and will move ahead. The big moment is arriving for Connie Kalita from Mount Clemens, Michigan, one of the nation's top drag racers, and a man who has achieved a speed of better than 200 miles an hour here in practice. Connie, I see this is your car, the Bounty Hunter. Let's talk about it and explain some of the more important features. What about these big wheels? Why do you use such big wheels on the rear?
The reason for this is, Chuck, is to put as many square inches of rubber area on the surface at one time to accommodate the horsepower of the engine.
To get as much traction as possible. What is the size of the tread of this tire?
The face of that tire is a full 11 inches wide.
And that's a lot of tire. Now, what about the engine?
This engine is a new overhead cam Ford engine developed by Ford Motor Car Company, and it's been leased to me to run experimentation tests on it. When you put a supercharger on an engine like this, which is sitting on top, and run nitromethane, it's pretty hard on things, and it really shows the stresses and strains real quick.
Now, we've taken the cover off the right side so they can see the inner workings. What are we looking at there?
You're looking at the camshaft and the rocker arm assemblies for the valve train.
Very complex engine. How much horsepower will it produce?
It's pretty hard, but I would say it's making over 1,500 horsepower real easy.
Wow. Now, I'm struck by the very small wheels in front. Why do you use such small wheels?
The reason for this is, Chuck, we don't need weight up there, so we make a small, light tire. We need less wind resistance, therefore we use a small tire also. And 3, it's less rolling resistance.
What would you say this car is worth?
I've got about $10,000 sitting there, Chuck.
And that's not counting the engine.
No, it's not.
Well, good luck to you, Connie. I know that you're anxious to get out there and beat some of the top drag racers in the country.
I'll be there trying.
Here's Don Prudhomme, who has drawn a bye in the third round, but they make him run anyway. The life of one of these engines is only about 6 or 7 races, and so it would be a definite advantage if he was able to skip one round. So they make him run. He'll probably just start off very quickly and then cut the engine out to save it. So he's moving up. He's a cinch to win. He has no opponent. But they make him make a pretty good effort because he would not be using his engine, and he didn't. He got away pretty well there, and now probably will shut off. Yes, he is shutting off. to save that engine, so his speed will be very, very slow, but he'll go into the semifinals, and he will meet Rick Stewart in the semifinals. The other semifinal has Bill Alexander against Connie Kalitta. And here it is, Connie Kalitta, whom we just talked to in this $10,000 dragster that is capable of producing 1,500 horsepower, racing against Wild Bill Alexander. Alexander on the far side, moving them into position. Kalitta waiting for those lights to start, eager to go, and Kalitta fouled. It's the second big favorite that has been eliminated through the foul procedure. He jumped the lights, in other words. He's well out in front, but he's a loser because he fouled on the start. So Bill Alexander will go in to the finals against the winner of the match between Don Prudhomme and Rick Stewart. And here it is, Rick Stewart moving up to the line, adjusting his goggles. You'll notice they have been wiping the tires. They put a fluid on those tires to make them soft so they'll get better traction. Also to clean the loose impediments off the tires. Don Prudhomme is ready on the far side. They release their brake and they're away in a cloud of smoke. And again, another foul. Rick Stewart has fouled against Don Prudhomme. And so Don Prudhomme is the winner at a speed of 204.08 miles per hour and will move into the finals against Wild Bill Alexander for Mr. Top Fuel Eliminator. And that should be a tremendous race, and we'll have it coming up in just a moment from Pomona, California. Here's the big race of the day for Top Fuel Eliminator, the finals between Don Prudhomme and number 63, nearest us, from Granada Hills, California, against Wild Bill Alexander of Los Angeles, California, on the far side. This is the race the fans have been waiting for. The lights have started. When it flashes green, they'll go, and they both got off to a good start. Notice how they're burning rubber, getting away from that starting line. It's a very, very close race. Don Prudhomme apparently blowing his engine, but he flashed across the winner. Don Prudhomme of Granada Hills, California, Top Fuel Eliminator with a speed of 201.34 miles per hour. His crew is going wild. They did not expect to win today. They were upset victors as Connie Kalitta and Don Garlits went out by the foul route, but Don Prudhomme came on with a tremendous run of 201.34 miles per hour. Now Don is getting out of his car. We're going to move down and get a few words with the biggest man in drag racing right now, Don Prudhomme. Don, I presume this is a dream come true.
Oh, boy, it's the greatest experience of my life.
How long have you been drag racing?
I've been drag racing now for about 6 years.
And this is your first Nationals victory, right?
That's right, that's right. This is the first one.
How did you feel you got off in that final run?
Well, I was a little bit worried for a while there about the halfway point because I saw his front wheels, but all of a sudden this thing just took over and passed him.
Did you have any trouble at the finish?
Well, we blew a little bit of oil, but besides that, there was no trouble. The car stopped fine and everything was okay on the car.
When did that occur? At the finish or just before?
Yeah, that occurred right coming into the finish lights. We were going right around 199 at the time when that happened. When I come through, then we went through the lights, and I just didn't want to take my foot out of it at that time when we crossed the finish line.
I imagine you breathed a sigh of relief when that finish line popped.
Oh, boy, I should say.
Don, congratulations
Well,
to you, and good luck in future races.
Thank you very much.
So a very happy Don Prudhomme takes home the big trophy from the Winter Nationals in 1965 from Pomona, California, and it's been a great day of drag racing for all the 80,000 spectators and the more than 500 drivers and the mechanics and crew chiefs. Many great races, and we certainly hope that you have enjoyed them this afternoon. There were a number of upsets. Big Daddy Garlits, who had been the pre-race favorite, fouled out, and as a consequence, we have a brand new winner, one that has never won the national championship. And that's about the story from the Winter Nationals in Pomona, California.
For the auto enthusiast, one of the biggest, most exciting events of the year is the Winter Nationals, held in Southern California. This meet is the first in drag racing's Triple Crown and marks the start of the drag racing season. The action starts with the custom auto fair at the Pan Pacific Auditorium. Here, the International Car Club Association presents a most interesting collection of select show vehicles. the National Hot Rod Association stages its Winter National Championship drag races at the Los Angeles County Fairgrounds. More than 600 top cars and drivers from all parts of the nation kick off the big-time drag racing season. A custom car show is an automotive dream come true. The professional builders' cars of tomorrow, like Carl Casper's Ghost, compete with the backyard customizers for the prizes and approval of the critical spectators. The $30,000 Cosmo Ray by Barris is an exciting example of the fresh styling concepts created by the special car builders. Steve Scott's The Uncertain T is destined to become one of the best-known special rods ever put together. Sheer craftsmanship is featured in a world where painstaking attention to detail is taken for granted. Cutaway engines are on display just across the aisle from the chrome roadsters. Many cars feature a successful blending of traditional coachwork and contemporary customizing. Leading manufacturers supply technical know-how and support organized drag racing as a sport. They exhibit their product lines at the car show. Any product must work perfectly under extreme operating conditions to be a winner in this critical segment of the automotive market. And the potential customers, young and old, do their own work on their valued machines. They're constantly searching for new ideas to add performance and pleasure. Here's a novel solution to your traction problem. Put the power plant in the back seat. It cuts down on the passenger load, but it's guaranteed to produce some of the wildest wheelies you've ever seen. Here's what a slick paint job and a set of chrome wheels can do. The car buffs check out a new dragster. A flashy set of pipes. And a car that shows and goes. Spectators test their skill on the starting line by using the anticipation starter on display. This Christmas tree will start the races the following weekend, when many of the cars entered in the show will be running for the Go prizes on the Pomona drag strip. But technical inspection must be passed before any entry is official. The 612 entries must be inspected and placed into one of 75 precise classifications. Each car entering the event is subjected to a thorough front-to-back inspection. Dragsters reach terminal speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour, so supervision and a strong set of safety rules are vital. Factory experimental classes have been established for entries equipped with limited production and special performance options. As soon as inspection and classification are completed, the wizards of the wrenches head for the pits to make vital last-minute adjustments. On Friday, under threatening skies. The pits and strip are open to competitors. Connie Kalitta unloads his new Ford-powered AA fueler. Gordon Collette moves to the gas dragster staging lanes. And Earl Poig gets set to test the traction of the Pomona quarter mile. The safety parachute helps stop the rail after the high-speed run. Hayden Prophet is anxious to try his new Mercury Comet. Jack Chrisman is ready with his supercharged Cyclone. So is Arnie Beswick. And Gas Ronda. But fog hides the end of the quarter mile from the start line officials, and only the low stalkers are allowed on the strip. On Saturday, rain canceled out the program of class runoffs. So, the 3-day event will be compressed into a single day of action and drama on Sunday. Some contestants load them up again, while others hold their cherished positions in the staging lanes. On Sunday, 65,000 drag racing fans witness the exciting competition that will run from 7 a.m. until sunset. 70 fuelers battle for the 16 starting spots in the top fuel eliminator contest. They're also shooting for the 206.88 miles per hour top speed record set by Don Garlitz earlier in the week. They match their reflexes with a Christmas tree. Big names fail to qualify. Kalitta qualifies with an ET of 7.82 seconds. This is what the crowd came to see. The new factory experimentals in head-to-head races. In the first Ford versus Plymouth match, Gas Ronda's red Mustang beats Al Extran's Plymouth. And Ronda hits the finish line first. Next up, the Tasca Ford entry and Don Nicholson's Comet. Bill Lawton's Mustang takes the win as Nicholson's in trouble. Roger Lindemood and the Color Me Gone Dodge eliminate Dick Brannon. Number 612, Hayden Prophet, beats Phil Bonner. Bonner's Mustang wins as the veteran Prophet encounters shifting problems. Tom Grove's Plymouth beats Arnie Beswick to the end of the quarter mile. Top gas eliminator runs are next on the line. Class requirements for fuelers are the same as those for gas dragsters, with one exception. The fuelers use alcohols, nitromethane, and other exotic fuels. Gordon Collette beats Washington's Earl Poig to the finish line. Earl's top-end speed was faster than Collette's, but his ET was almost a quarter of a second off the pace. Pete Roberts lead. But Harold Amix catches him at the traps as something broke on Pete's Tinker toy. Before the crowd can catch its breath and rehash the hard-fought competition, the action picks up again as the top stock eliminator field opens the first round. 11 new Plymouths make up the field. Paul Rossi from Michigan beats Bill Andrews and the only stick shift car in the field. Bill Shirey from Detroit keeps the Michigan record intact with an 11.78 ET. Hank Taylor from Texas watches the Christmas tree. But Bill Jenkins eliminates Taylor with an ET of 11.57 and a top speed of 125 miles per hour. Dave Koppel and the Maloney Motors Plymouth Automatic are at the line. Koppel beats Bill Flynn in a tight race. Dick Housey eliminates Doug Lovegrove in the first round finale. After the Highlander and the Missouri Mule had moved down the stretch, the winning time was 11.69 seconds and the top end speed 123.62 miles per hour. Earlier in the day, two wild gas coupes, the bread and butter cars of drag racing, had come to the line to delight the gasser fans. It's number 286, the A-Gas supercharged goer of K.S. Pittman in the near lane, and the Alzer Finders and Kibbles mover in the far lane. They inch up to the line. Leads the length of the strip. Big John Masmanian in the red coupe meets one of the Stone, Woods, and Cook cars in an all-West Coast showdown. Woods and Cook win it going away. The B-Fuel Dragster Trophy Run is at the line. The green rail stays at the line. And Frank Martinez takes it by himself. Bill Hopper's Ford has the strip to itself as the Whittier Californian takes the B Factory Experimental Class honors on a solo run as the second round for Top Stock Eliminator gets underway. The Professor 2, with Bill Shirey at the controls, shuts down Paul Rossi in the near lane in a close one. The mechanic turned driver in the near lane beats Dr. Dick Spence to the lights. The Yankee Peddler in the near lane moves first. But Dick Housey lowers his previous ETs with an impressive win and advances. That's the little red wagon standing on its tailgate. the Dodge pickup truck was converted to racing and is powered by a 425 horsepower V8. The wagon pioneered a trend in exhibition cars. In the E-Gas Trophy run, the winner was the Chevy from Berkeley, California of Vivian and Corky Booz. ET, 13.89, and top-end speed, 99.22. The gasser field at Pomona was the greatest. Charlie Smith comes from behind to take the A. Aldred Class Awards with a 9.85 ET over Victor Rossetti from Los Angeles. Strickler from York, Pennsylvania, whips the gay Pontiac from Dickinson, Texas for the A Modified Production title and collects the loot. Ernie Dutra and the Hemi wagon battle for the B Modified Production class honors. But Ernie's Corvette wins with an ET of 11.69 and a top-end speed of 120.64. Plymouth from Arcadia, California, wins the race to the lights over the Ford Stalker to win the C Stock Automatic crown. As the sun was setting, Kempton later went on to become the Junior Stock Eliminator. The T-Bolt in the near lane takes a class win from a Bob Ford entry. BFXer comes right back with an Eliminator run win over Gary Moore's Chevy in a later run. In the A-Gas Supercharged run, it's K.S. Pittman again versus the Yellow Coupe. But Pittman blasts by to take the run, having whipped an outstanding field along the way. Kay Sissel takes the class honors with an ET of 11.63. NHRA officials lay out the revised schedule that mixes Eliminator heats, trophy runs, with wild-looking cars and drivers. The stage is set for the A Competition Class Championship. City takes the trophy run with a 9.54 ET, top-end speed 155.97 as the top fuel eliminator first round begins. Don Garlitz on the spectator side meets Zane Schubert from Santa Ana. Big Daddy Garlitz hits 203.16 to put Schubert on the trailer. It's Bill Alexander in the far lane and Tom McEwen in the near lane. McEwen moves first, but is fouled, and Alexander's 16.68 ET is good enough to win. Jack Williams, last year's Fuel King, beats Rick Stewart. Williams leads the length of the strip, but has red lighted, and Stewart's declared the winner. Connie Kalita moves up to face Don Yates and the Ram Charger's Dodge-powered dragster. Bringing the overhead cam board off on a perfect start, Kalita lights the fuse and wins. Warren and Ronnie Hampshire next. Hampshire leads wire to wire, but is fouled, and Warren moves to the next round. TV star, Tommy Ivo, challenges Art Malone. Ivo roars by, but the street side red light is on again. Prudhomme and Redford were scheduled for the final in the opening round, but the Texas car failed to fire, so the officials waved Prudhomme to the soul. The Malicote brothers take the B-Gas Supercharged Trophy run over Stone, Woods, and Cook. Supercharged coupe blows by another Stone, Woods, and Cook entry for the class honor. The Super Stock Automatics return for the Mr. Stock Eliminator semifinal. Dick Housey's Detroit entry meets Dave Koppel's Ohio Stocker. Housey wins with an 11.46 ET and a 126.40 top speed. Bill Shirey and Bill Jenkins go in the other semifinal. Jenkins lowered his elapsed time to 11.41 as he moves into the final against Housey. Bill Jenkins moved first on the green and held the lead. Jenkins' time slip read 11.39 seconds and 126.05 miles per hour. Bill Jenkins from Rosemount, Pennsylvania, wins the trophy, cash, and merchandise, including a week's vacation in Hawaii. The foul light was to continue to play a key role in the rest of the fuel eliminations as Don Garlitz met Wild Bill Alexander. A slow 15.51 second elapsed time with a speed of 54.40 miles per hour advances Alexander as Garlitz caught the red light. Coletta beat Art Malone down the strip to end the top fuel second round. Only 4 factory experimentals are left as George DeLorean races Len Richter. DeLorean fouled, and Richter is the winner. But Len popped something as he struggled to a 23-second ET. Tom Groves and the Melrose Missile met Bill Lawton in the other semifinal. This run would be for the money, as Richter was done for the day. Lawton's whole shot paid off. Bill Lawton and the Tasca Mustang are the Winter Nationals Factory Stock Eliminator. When the Christmas tree failed to function, Buster Couch grabbed the emergency hand flag and started the top gas final. Jimmy Nix shot into the lead and produced his best run for the victory. Nix beats Harold Amex with a swift 8.55 second ET and a 179.28 miles per hour to collect the Top Gas Eliminator Awards. Wow! Only 5 fuelers out of 75 are left. Rick Stewart in the near lane draws Danny Ongeis. Ongeis picked up his 3rd double-century run, but it was canceled by a red light. Coletta talks with the officials, while Prudhomme waits his turn in the line. Connie roars down the quarter mile against Alexander. But Alexander and the red light add Coletta to their string of victims. In the 4th round, it's Stewart in the near lane against Prudhomme. Stewart cuts off first. But the Hawaiian roars by to advance into the finals. handicap system is in effect for Street Eliminator. Bill Hopper, the CFX winner, gets the head start. The Dutre and Dutre B modified production leader chases him and crosses the finish line first. Chico Brasciani's speed dragster meets Charlie Smith's winning A. Altered for competition eliminator. Chico stays in front to win. Only Don Prudhomme and Bill Alexander remain for top fuel. On the green, Alexander starts first. Prudhomme blasts into the lead at the halfway point and wins the top fuel crown. Don Prudhomme and the crew of the Hawaiian receive the cheers of the crowd and the fruits of sweet victory as the Winter Nationals Top Fuel Eliminator.
Here's a man out to win. It's a race for top acceleration on a quarter-mile run. 90, 100, 130 miles an hour in 11 seconds. Engines take a beating. Spark plugs misfire. Jack Thomas, champion driver, used a lot of gasolines before trying a special Sinclair gasoline with nickel. Now engine parts last longer. Spark plugs fire smoothly. Nickel makes the difference. The same nickel compound in Sinclair Dyno gasolines for your car. Nickel cuts engine wear, saves repairs, so you get more miles per dollar at the sign of the Sinclair Dinosaur.
From Pomona, California, to Bristol, Tennessee, to Indiana's famed Indianapolis Raceway Park, drag racing has become the fastest growing sport in America. It all began with the hot rod. You took an old car, souped it up. Mainly, that meant dropping a great big engine in a little bitty body. The combination was loud, and it went like crazy. Next, off came the fenders, the hood, the windshield, the side panels. The hot rod that used to be short and fat got long and skinny as the search for more speed, better traction, and quicker get-alone. This evolution has spawned 75 species where they've been basically one. The weird shapes and wildly different sizes of today's cars have made a complex classification system necessary. As the fat fell off, muscles began to stick out all over. Engines got bigger and meaner and more powerful. And if one engine wasn't enough, you hooked up two. Muscles bulged until, like the beach boy who stands around all flexed and sexy looking, the hot rod, bristling with power, got muscle bound. The answer was the dragster. They laughed when inventor Don Garlits sat down to play, but man, could he play. Suddenly, everybody was sending in for the Garlits course to a speedier tomorrow. The dragster was the most, all engine and no car, all muscle, no fat at all. It was boss. For glamour, there were the slick super stalkers. They were rich and good looking. They were class. Enter the engineers, the speed shop operators, the professionals. They had the secrets and the goodies, and they knew what to do. They knew how to cook. Whole new industries sprang up around drag racing's fantastic popularity. Drag racers sunk everything they had into their custom-built crates. Any modification was possible, depending on the rules of the class you wanted to run in. Tires play an important part in drag racing, the final connection between engine and asphalt. Just because all that fancy hardware has been assembled doesn't mean the car is ready to run. It's never ready. If you listen to the driver, there's always something that needs to be tightened or tuned or torqued. A car is never perfect. can always be reworked. By the time a drag racer is through, everything on his car is custom made from top, if there is one, to bottom. And then it's time to put the months of work and worry of tuning and torquing to the test. You better be ready, because more than 100,000 people have paid their way into the drag strip at Los Angeles County Fairgrounds in Pomona, California, to see the first big meet of the 1965 racing season, the Winter Nationals. And what a show it was. The same quarter-mile strip that had drivers straining to reach 190 miles an hour in 8 seconds last year gave way to a rash of over 200-mile-an-hour, 7.5-second runs. In drag racing, speeds are so great, time so quick, and runs so close that it takes equipment accurate to 1,000th of a second to catch the results. This year's Winter Nationals was remarkable for two reasons. First, a new system was introduced in the Top Stock Eliminator competition. In the past, Top Stock was limited to the big super stockers. But for the 1965 season, the action had been expanded to include the Wild A Factory experimental cars and the Double A stockers. And to make everything equal, competition will be held under the NHRA handicap system, the slower class car leading first. Bill Jenkins was the big winner under the new procedure with his super stock automatic 65 Plymouth. The second remarkable thing about the Winter Nationals was that the entire three-day meet was compressed into a single day, after rain and fog canceled out Friday's and Saturday's shows. Sunday, almost 4,000 time runs were made, over 700 miles of racing. Don Garlitz set a new record of 206.88 miles per hour through the finish line timing trap. 11 miles an hour faster than last year's best. Earlier, Art Malone had lowered the elapsed time record to 7.56 seconds. But the big news was Don Prudhomme's piloting the Hawaiian. Put over 200-mile-an-hour, 7.5-second runs back-to-back and raced off with a Top Fuel Eliminator trophy. Prudhomme predicted that the Top Fuel drivers would be hitting an incredible 210 miles per hour before the year was out. Let's see how accurate his prediction was. The second big meet of the year, the Spring Nationals, was held in Bristol, Tennessee, in the heart of the hilly Piedmont region of southwestern Virginia and northeastern Tennessee. There isn't a level quarter mile in the whole area, but that hasn't stopped the local citizens from becoming drag racing fans. Nor has it stopped local sportsmen from building the finest, most modern drag racing facility anywhere. Everything about Bristol, from its 4-story air-conditioned control tower and advanced timing system to its starting lights and quarter-mile strip, is the newest, the best. Where did they find 440 yards straight and level in this part of the country? Between two mountains, that's where. The one strong, unifying factor, as drag racing went coast to coast, was the drivers. All the top names from all over the country came to test the brand new Bristol strip. First off, the Super Stockers, the wild Detroit-built dragsters, funny cars, now running in their own private category called the Match Bash. This was a no-holds-barred, make it as custom as you want category. And they tried everything with such famous names as the Golden Commandos, the Honker, Ronnie Socks, Dave Strickler, and Bob Harrop's Flying Carpet battling it out. Bristol also marked the world premiere of Hearst's wheel standing Hemi Under Glass. As the gas dragsters got the feel of things, a few adjustments for the high altitude were made, but not enough for over-anxious drivers. Gordon Collette coasted through on an easy one as Dick Vest jumped the light. Another foul at the start as John Reed tried to anticipate the green. Ron Colson blasted through for the win. The second round of the match bash had Dave Strickler sitting it out, while the Flying Carpet just pulled the rug out from under the honker with a real heads-up run. What will be the effect of Bristol's Mountain Air on the big fuelers? The boys who run on those crazy nitromethane blends. Can they turn 200 miles an hour plus in under 8 seconds here? Gentleman Joe Schubeck was a little too eager to find out, but you would be too if you were running against Connie Kalita. The red-hot candy-striped Ram Chargers rail from Ferndale, Michigan, with Don Westerdale guiding it, took on the All-American Val Laporte from Tampa, Florida. In a straight head-to-head run, Westerdale turned 2:04.44 in 7.51 seconds. Jimmy Nix, who won the top gas trophy at Pomona, switched to fuel and lost to Don Garlitz. Both men were under 8 seconds. The second round of the fuelers closed the way it had opened with Minneapolis's Tom Hoover coasting through for the win against a disqualified Ron Goodsall, who races out of Pomona, California. Time for the match bash finals. Dave Strickler won out over Bob Harrop, who jumped at the start. Strickler turned 130 miles per hour in 11.3 seconds. Dave, a Dodge driver from York, Pennsylvania, has been one of the top stock drag racers. He was Little Eliminator at the 1963 Nationals. With the funny cars out of the way, the 1964 Junior Stock World Champion, Mike Schmidt of Ridgecrest, California, beat out Bob Borkes of Springfield, Ohio in the red-hot top stock action. With all the stock classes upgraded, the top stock Eliminator trophy went to a 1964 Ford. The Junior Stock Eliminator trophy went to Bill Hopper, Street Eliminator finalist at the Winter Nationals. Third round for Top Gas. Gordon Collette roared into the final as Ron Colson red-lighted. Third round Top Fuel. The Ram Chargers versus Connie Kalita, who raised the top speed record to 209 miles per hour. With that kind of competition, Westerdale got trigger-happy, and Kalita rolled through another easy one. Tom Hoover versus Jimmy Nix. This was the wildest and tightest run of the Spring Nationals. Both cars were under 8 seconds, but watch as Hoover wins and then bursts into flame at the finish. His protective face mask and flame suit saved his life. The Street Eliminator final. Joe Cunningham got a handicap, but pulled it out on the top end over Dick Schroyer with a run of 87 miles per hour in 13.1 seconds. Little Joe Cunningham was pretty proud, too. Competition Eliminator saw a unique double winner situation with Glenn Blakely and Pete Schattinger sharing the title. Both had a top-end speed of 141.5 miles per hour in 10.05 seconds. Top Gas Eliminator. In a solid heads-up run, Gordon Collette pulled it out by a whisker, hitting 185.94 miles per hour in 8.47 seconds. He's the top gas dragster driver in the land. Then it was Connie Kalita's turn in the Top Fuel final against little-known Maynard Rupp. Kalita had been getting a series of free rides as his opponents kept jumping the light. Maynard Rupp, with a clean getaway, was first to cross the finish line as both Rupp and Kalita topped 200 miles per hour in under 8 seconds. This victory established Michigan's Maynard Rupp as a leading fuel dragster driver. The Winter Nationals in the West, the Spring Nationals in the East, and now the National Championships in the heart of the country. This is the payoff for drivers who have traveled the circuit from coast to coast. Don Prudhomme, top fuel eliminator at the Winter Nationals. Don Westerdale of the Ram Chargers. Connie Kalita. And television star Tommy Ivo. But drag racing isn't just big names. It's everybody's sport. With a real love for cars, some skill, a lot of patience, a terrific desire to compete, and a few $1,000 burning a hole in your bank account, you too can get your name in the papers. Maybe even your picture. But before your dreams of glory can come true, your car must be inspected to determine what class it's going to run in. There are 70 classes at the Nationals. How can inspectors evaluate cars as individual and as unusual as these? How can they detect such subtle differences? After 11 years, the automotive experts of the National Hot Rod Association know where to look and what to look for. George Montgomery of Dayton, Ohio, is one of drag racing's expert drivers of long standing. In the 11-year history of the sport, George was one of its most popular early stars. He retired at 27, came back in 1963 at 30 to take middle eliminator honors at the Nationals, and is back this year driving Hurst's experimental Gasser Passer. The winning mechanic in each of the 6 eliminator categories will receive a set of Hurst magnesium wheels presented by Miss Hurst Golden Shifter. Fueled, lubricated, tuned, torqued, polished until you can see your face in any part, everything's ready to blast off for pay dirt. Some unintentional wheelies and one intentional one with Wild Bill Shrewsbury at the controls of the Hurst's Hemi Underglass. First round for the top fuelers, and Maynard Rupp proves that his Bristol win was no fluke by beating Connie Kalita twice in a row. Second run, and Rupp draws Tommy Ivo. Look out, Rupp loses it, but Ivo stays on course, hitting almost 206 miles per hour. Don Westerdale locks horns with Buddy Cortines. Both cars go over 200 miles per hour with their Ram Chargers hitting 210.76. Last race in round 2, and Don Garlitz jumps to start against Tommy Hoover. Garlitz is out early. Another improvement that came with the dragster is the fire suit. Both gas and fuel dragster drivers wear them, as well as some of the competition eliminator drivers. These fire protective coverings, face masks, gauntlets, and suits completely protect the driver from head to foot. It's hot inside all that, even for a short stay, but chrome long johns have saved many a life. With the sanctioning of the exotic nitromethane blends for the big fuel dragsters, the fuel check for all other cars has become even more important. Each car's fuel is spectroscoped, tested for specific gravity, and the results are recorded. For everybody but the fuelers, it must be pump gas. Third round top gas eliminator. And Ron Colson Stiletto puts away Mark Pierres. Why not? Next, it's Phil Hobbs, 1963 top gas car owner versus national record holder George Bolthoff. Hobbs goes into the semifinals against Colson. Top stock round 3. Dave Strickler, the match bash winner from Bristol, eliminates Bristol's top stock eliminator, Mike Schmidt. As the cars file back to the staging area for the next round of eliminations, half of them get timing cards giving them their winning time and speed. The other half pack it up. 1,167 entries have been boiled down to 70. And those 70 down to the semi-finalist in 6 eliminator categories. In order to give all class winners an equal chance for the top eliminator titles, a handicapped starting system goes into effect when unequal classes are competing in the same eliminator bracket. For example, in the junior stock eliminator semifinals, Bill Spanikos gets the green light first. But Dave Koppel, with the more powerful car, doesn't wait long enough for his go signal and is disqualified. The street eliminator semifinals, Carl Kirk, with a big handicap, puts on a great top-end effort and outruns Rufus Boswell. In the other street semi, Tom Holderbaum, with another large handicap, slides into the grass, giving Ferd Naftel's Storming Bull a clear, easy victory. Competition eliminator semis. Pete Schattinger, one of the finalists at Bristol, gets a good jump, but has to hustle to hold off a hard-charging Bill Smith. Francis O'Connor is last out of the hole against Vinnie Goodmaster, but look at that top-end burst. Third round for the top fuelers. Tommy Ivo gets a chance to rest this time as Jim Dunn jumps the start. Tom Hoover, on the other hand, gives it a real go as Don Westerdale's Ram Charger loses its fire. Round 4 for the top stocks. Unknown Bud Schellenberger keeps rolling as Dave Strickler is disqualified. Bill Lawton, factory experimental eliminator at the Winter Nationals, runs heads up with Joe Smith. It's even all the way with Lawton just pulling it out through the trap. Bob Coble draws a bye. In the stock semis, Lawton comes up against Coble, but gets a bad bouncing start as Coble smokes it through all the way. 1964 Fords running for the top stock eliminator trophy. It's even all the way with Schellenberger just pulling it out in 12.2 seconds with a top-end speed of 114 miles per hour. The junior stock final, John Callender versus Bill Spanikos. It's another head-to-head run with Callender just edging out Spanikos in 15.3 seconds with a run of 88 miles per hour. In the competition eliminator finals, Pete Schattinger has an easy time of it against Francis O'Connor, turning 120 miles per hour in 10.4 seconds. Street eliminator finals, Ferd Naftel and Carl Kirk. Has a big handicap, but comes on strong and almost takes the Storming Bull, but not quite. They don't come any closer than that. Naftel turned 105.5 miles per hour in 13.2 seconds. Top gas semifinal. Phil Hobbs and Ron Colson go at it head-to-head with Hobbs blasting into the final against Gordon Collette, the class winner who had the honor of sitting it out. And here it is, Hobbs, owner of 1963's Top Gas Eliminator, versus Collette, 1964's Top Gas Eliminator. Hobbs takes it back in 65 for the first comeback win in drag racing history. The car's co-owner, Ken Harada, accepts congratulations from Wally Parks, president of the National Hot Rod Association. Top fuel semifinal, Tommy Ivo versus Tom Hoover. TD Tommy Ivo stays in there all the way to win. Now he'll meet the class winner, Don Prudhomme, the top fuel eliminator at the Winter Nationals, in the final. Prudhomme gets the jump this time and really lets it out, hitting 207.33 miles per hour in 7.5 seconds. What a finish! Don Prudhomme, top fuel eliminator at the Winter Nationals, and now at the Nationals is truly the top fuel eliminator in the nation. This has been a tremendous year for everyone associated with drag racing, and especially for the more than 6 million fans who go to 2,000 plus drag meets a year at over 125 drag strips from coast to coast. Drag racing is America's youngest and fastest growing sport. What about next year and the year after that? The fuelers reached 210 miles per hour in 7.47 seconds as Prudhomme predicted. Where will they go now? How fast can they go? And how quick? Is there a limit to any car? You can bet there'll be more people than ever trying to find out, and millions more flocking to see them go.
In a runoff between Jack Ewell and Reef Automotive, Ewell wins with a 7.9 ET, 200.44 miles an hour against 200 flat. Mike Sorokin, driver for one of the greatest racing teams, the Surfers, is anxious to win. He does it with an ET of 7.85, making it a cold day for Winters. Paul Sutherland from Long Beach, California comes up against Bobby Langley, three-time state champion of Texas. And Paul wins with a 7.88 ET. The state of Arizona, represented by Turk Cox, takes on a hard-running Texan, Sam Reitzel. It's close, but Turk Cox wins. Danny Ungayas, the famous champion from Honolulu, Hawaii, competes with Wilfred Barlag and leads all the way. Swingle of Tampa, Florida, in Ed Pink's Old Bastard, challenges Paul Sutherland. Sutherland swindles Swingle with a dazzling 7.65. With half the day gone, the contest is now down to 18 cars competing for top eliminator. The unsung heroes of the day, the pit crews and owners, work frantically to keep their cars super tuned and glued together during the short 35 minutes between races. Next up, Ron Hampshire with Turner, Sid Waterman turning the wrenches. Bev's Steakhouse of the Golden West provides the competition, but the red light will get you, and it sizzles the steakhouse. Famous Jim Davis of Walnut Creek tackles horsepower engineering. But losers. There are hundreds of hours that go into car preparation and lots of expense to make a run lasting just a few seconds. Providing you have no engine failures, it costs about $250 a day to maintain a top dragster. It's a tough way to make a living. While some dragsters gross over $100,000 a year, others are happy to race just for the pure sport. Don Garlitz takes on Levitt Miller in a smasher. Garlitz wins with a good, honest effort at 202.70 miles per hour. Jack Ewell, the Silver Fox, against Chrome Promenteroux of Seattle. The red light claims another victim, and it's the Silver Fox who trips the clocks. A beautiful car. The B&M Torquemaster comes up. The driver, Kenny Stafford, matched against Danny Ungaius. And Ungaius loses. Horsepower engineering again with a real good run. A 7.80 ET and 205 miles per hour. The 200-mile-per-hour club strikes again. Paul Sutherland polishes off Dirk Cox in 7.87 elapsed time. The Surfers with another 7.87. Wipe Bob Sabarbro off the slip. Sutherland again in a run against Babbler Clark, the traveling twins. And Sutherland wins with a 7.74 ET. Jack Newell versus Big Daddy Garlitz. And Garlitz knows what you get if you don't watch out. The red light. Next to the last round is drawn. It won't be long now. A single evens up the field. The Surfers win an easy one from another red lighter. The B&M Torquemasters overshadow Storming Red Lang, the thin man from New York, in a 7.79 runoff. Paul Sutherland again in the fabulous Brissett machine runs a consistent 7.87 at over 200 miles per hour to close out the round. Sutherland in round 4 takes the measure of Jack Newell with a 7.90, but Newell never left the line. Sorry about that. Torquemaster and the Surfers next. The Surfers win. Sutherland singles to even things up. Estes runs a single, but just for fun. Then, in the final top elimination, it's the Surfers versus Brissett Sutherland. Shut off, and the top dog is Mike Sorokin in the Surfers machine. This gathering of monsters is ended, but wherever you go, beware of the MT equipped. Nicky Thompson Enterprises expresses appreciation to the following 200-mile-per-hour club members: